Hey guys, Chris Johnson here with Atleigh Home Group, and today I have my friend Shawn Maloney with me. He is with RetireWise, and we're going to be talking about tips that you can follow to live a financially fit life. Stay tuned to the end because you're going to get the top 3 things that you can do to be financially fit. All right, so I am here with my friend Shawn Maloney with RetireWise. Shawn, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me here today.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about RetireWise and what you do for folks.
Yeah, so my company's RetireWise. I do financial planning. I also do financial education for folks because it all starts with the core principles, the core foundations of being physically fit and financially fit. So we have to start there before you can grow your portfolios, grow your life into what it needs to be. We try to make that personalized and wrap it all together for everybody.
That's awesome. And I love that you're thinking about financially fit and just being healthy in general.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, Shawn has a magazine and it came out, Start Healthy. Stay tuned because I hear there's going to be a digital edition coming out. And this thing it does give you financial tips in here, but it also talks about other ways that you can just live a healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
Everything from amazing, recipes that you can follow.
Yeah.
But then my favorite article that I saw in this particular edition was how you can move safely. So how to have a safe move. It's like it was custom made, for this conversation.
That's right. That's right.
So you've got RetireWise, where you're helping people, become more financially healthy.
Correct.
You also have a Facebook group that I've seen that's become very active called Christian Families Financial Education.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm real passionate about educating people with their core financial principles, and especially aligned with the values of biblical principles. The Bible teaches us a lot of things about finances. It's amazing, right? There's over 2,000 verses that talk about stewardship, financial responsibility, those kind of things. And it's amazing how it lines up with how we can tie in our financial well-being. So this group is designed for Christian families, and we talk about anything from budgeting through retirement, through investments, to your overall, financially well-fit health life, as well as tied into health, as you talked about different aspects like home ownership, all the way through a healthy lifestyle. But it all begins with that 101 basics, and I firmly believe in tying in our values to your overall lifestyle, all the way down into financials, right? So we have an active group with that.
Yeah, because your values, it permeates everything in your life. It's not just, your money, but your money often shows what you do value.
Right. And one thing I'd love to say, and it's kind of been a mantra of the group now, is that you can worship with your wealth or you can worship your wealth, right? There's a big difference between the two. Think about that for a second, right? So if you're worshiping with your wealth, then you're worshiping and helping others and glorifying things. But if you worship wealth itself, you get bogged down in the worldly ways, and it totally changes your mindset perspective on things. It's crazy how that simple sentence and way of looking at things can change things.
Yeah, that's a great thing for us to remember. You can worship with your wealth, or you can worship your wealth.
Right.
With me being in real estate and helping people become homeowners, many of them for the very first time, that idea of homeownership can be a really key part of building wealth. Talk to us a little bit about how you prepare people for taking that step into homeownership.
Yeah, most definitely. That's a big step for a lot of people, right? And that's the first foundation of really getting your family or yourself into a financial foothold, because when you move out of the realm of renting into home ownership, you're taking ownership of something that can be your investment, right, for long term, right? It's just not a short-term thing. You're not putting money away that it goes nowhere. So it goes back to the basics, right? When you figure out the budgeting and what percentages of your income and your expenses go toward housing, utilities, and all those kind of things. So when we teach people about being physically fit with finances, homeownership is a huge part of that, because you want to get into a home and you want to be comfortable and find the right home that obviously you guys like, that's in your, but also that you can afford, that doesn't overstress yourself. So knowing your numbers and knowing your budgets is key to that, right?
Absolutely. And so if you're finding this conversation to be healthy and helpful, make sure that you're liking this video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm also going to give you a link to Shawn's page where you can find some of the things that he's putting out to give you more tips for how you can grow to be financially fit. Homeownership being so important in building that, as people own a home, they start to be able to build equity.
Correct.
And tell us how that equity building can really help somebody with their financial future?
Yeah, it can be really big, especially in the realm. I love teaching people about retirement and being ready for retirement, because let's face it, right? At the end of the day, we're not working just because we love it. Our goal is to get to that retirement phase, right? But if you have a home and you're building your equity up in a home, and of course, if you look at historically in the home markets, as you know, values go up, and you can build a decent nest egg with your equity. Well, that equity could be used for a number of things. Sure, you can use it for home improvements and those kind of things along the way. We like to educate and make sure people are aware, one, how to do that the right way, and two, when you get into that later stages, you can actually use your equity to kind of subrogate your retirement if needed. It can also go into helping with like long-term care later on, right? Because that gets really expensive. A lot of people don't plan for it. So building equity in your home kind of gives you a safety net, right? We want to have you plan properly to have your nest egg, if you will. But the home equity is a great way to have a safety net in your later years, or for emergency purposes, during your normal lifespan, right? Like I said, for emergencies or for home improvements, those kind of things. But long term, it's fantastic, right? Real estate always goes up for the most part. Yes, it goes ups and downs just like the market does,
yep.
Right? But it's a great investment. It's a foundational concept of financial 101s.
Yep, absolutely. The real estate values definitely will have ups and downs and dips, but historically it is one of the safest investments out there. Historically, Correct. It goes up. Obviously, investing in a home and being a homeowner can be incredibly important to your financial lifestyle. But if someone has the means to be able to pay off their home and to be able to completely say, hey, I'm done with my monthly payments. Yep. What do you recommend? Is that a wise thing for them to do, or is it better for them to hold on to that mortgage?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And it gets it's multifaceted, right? It really depends on where you're at in your life. So the way I like to counsel people on that is you look at what you're paying percentage-wise, what your percentage rate is on your home loan. Do you have debt, right? And what are those payments at? What are those interest rates at? We definitely want to get people out of debt first, but you want to get rid of like credit cards, installment loans, all those kind of things first before you really look at your mortgage, because for two reasons. Typically mortgage rates are fairly lower than what a credit card would be.
Sure.
Plus you have some write-offs and taxes and those kind of things. So mortgages are typically the last thing that we pay off. We go through other debt elimination processes, but the goal is to pay off your home before retirement if possible, right? That just gives you that much more flexibility inside your expenses, if you will, in retirement, right? It's not always possible for everybody, but that's the goal, right? So it is it depends kind of question, but normally you can hang on to that mortgage if it makes sense. If you have all your other debt paid down and you have the means to do it, that's fantastic. But normally it's one of the last things that we do.
So Shawn, tell us a little bit about the top 3 things that people can do to live a financially fit life.
Yeah, I love this question because there's so many different aspects and a lot of people are all over the place, right? Financial, let's just face it, it's one of those things a lot of people get stressed out about, right? And it can cause some stress in people's lives. I like to take that away from people, right? Let's talk about it. Let's take that stress out. So the top 3 things really, one, it goes into discipline. People don't always like that word discipline, right? Human nature is we don't like discipline. But let me simplify it a little bit, right? The first part of that is budget, right? Yep. Budgeting and tracking is key. You can't really plan unless you don't know what you have and you don't know where it's going. There's a standard rule out there, the 50-30-20 rule, right? That's 50% that goes to your needs, your core expenses, all that kind of stuff, 30% to your wants, and 20% to your savings and investments. That's a general rule of thumb. That doesn't mean that's right for everybody.
Sure.
If you don't, of course, if we can shave down that middle part to 30 and push more to the 20 side, and that's fantastic. But that's part of being disciplined, budgeting and tracking. And we go real far in depth in what that means and what does tracking mean. The second part of that is having a financial plan and financial goals, right, that are meaningful, attainable, and core to your values, right? Don't go outside of what makes you happy, right? But in order to have a plan and to set goals, you got to have that first step, right? That becomes into the organized category. If you're organized, you have the budget, that's great, that's a discipline, but then you got to have the right plan and goals, and you want to be smart about it. You don't want to set things that are unattainable. And then the third aspect of that is let's reduce the noise and the emotions, right? I talk a lot about this, and this really goes true for anything, whether it's home ownership and getting into a home, whether it's investments or our daily life, is you got to weed out the noise, right? We hear a lot of headlines, we hear a lot of news. a lot of that surface, right? And you got to take the emotions out of that because people make panic decisions about their finances. But if you're holding true to the core financial plan, the core principles that we teach, then you can alleviate the noise and you hold true to those core principles, and you can weather those storms. We talked about those ups and downs. If you have the core principles in place, you can weather those. And what I like to say is so you can retire happy at the end of the day by holding true to those principles.
Awesome. Well, Shawn, you have given us 3 great tips, and those are going to be something that I think all of us can use to become more financially fit. If you are thinking about, hey, maybe I do need to get a financial plan in place, I need to become more financially fit, Shawn, how can people get in touch with you to take that first step?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So you can go to my website. It's www.retirewisepro.com, or you can email me at shawnmaloney@retirewisepro.com. I'd be happy to, or you can schedule an appointment with me right on the website as well. Free consultation up front. Love to talk to you and see how I can help you.
Perfect. And I'm going to include all that in the description so you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to get to Shawn's website. You'll be able to email him and get that conversation started. Shawn, thank you so much for the time today. Yeah. Guys, I hope this was beneficial. If you really like the content here and you really think that living that financially healthy lifestyle is going to be good for you, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. Would love to continue to bring you more content that's going to help you grow and be able to get you to becoming a homeowner and building your financial wealth.